All right, welcome to yet another fabulous news and nonsense report. I have Total OS today with me, and we have all the wonderful Linux news and nonsense that's important in your everyday life. Total OS today, how you doing, buddy?
I have a little bit of a problem. I'm trying to nail this Jello to the tree, and where are those instructions that you emailed me?
Actually, that's going to come up in another one of those off-topic episodes, and I figured out the perfect way to do it. But the thing is, I'm not going to give it away yet because I haven't filmed the video yet. But yeah,
Oh,
I've
fudge. Okay.
I've I've come up with the perfect way to do that, and
Okay. I'll make sure to take notes on that. Thank you.
well, it's fun to do something, off the
Yes.
wall once in a while. And you kind of expect that from somebody like me because, I mean, I have a funny bone already. So, you know,
I never would have guessed.
so, well, yeah, so
Cool.
exactly. So, yeah, so all kinds of good stuff in the Linux world this week. Alienware. You've heard of Alienware, haven't you?
Yes, it's a great movie. Oh, that's a different topic. Sorry.
No, Alienware, they're from Dell, and they have released the X51 Ubuntu gaming laptop.
Aha.
Alienware customers can now choose either Windows or Ubuntu when buying the new X51. The Ubuntu option is initially available to US customers only, and the price starts from $599.
That is very
And
reasonable. Yes.
yeah, and let me see if I can pull up the specs here on this. Um, well, I'll click the buy now just to see what options it gives you. Okay,
Okay.
starting at $599, you get an Intel Core i3 3.3 gigahertz dual core
Mm-hmm. Of
with the Ubuntu operating system,
course.
6 gigs of RAM,
Nice.
NVIDIA card, and that sort of thing. Now,
Okay.
my question is, I wonder what the differences in the price would be if we were to switch to Windows. It'd probably be
Oh, geez. Here's the Windows basher. Jeez. Folks, bye. I'm leaving. No, I'm just kidding.
the the $599 value automatically jumps up to
But
$799. Well,
here's the
probably
thing,
not.
though. No, well, look,
Well, probably not, but
no.
uh, well, it's you know.
All right. Here's the thing. If it
I'll tell you
works,
how
buy
much it'll
it.
be.
If it works,
Um,
buy it. There you go. There's my answer. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, why not? Well, the thing is, especially, I mean, if you're doing any heavy gaming, why would you want to get Ubuntu on the computer anyway? I mean, because Steam doesn't have that many titles yet to really worth
Mm,
writing home about, because I
well,
was on.
yeah, I did test Steam was it last month or so? I mean, it's getting there. I think it's a great starting point for Linux users wanting better quality games, but I don't think it's quite there yet, gaming wise, in terms of, Linux versus Windows. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and the thing is, I was looking on Steam. I thought, yeah, yeah, it'd probably be a good idea to, because I had some people ask me, hey, Spat, can you please, do a review of Steam and that
Yeah.
sort of thing? But the problem is, the games that I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
that are on Steam, I already bought as a result of the Humble Indie bundle. So what do I want to, why would I?
Yeah. Well, let me say this to be fair about Steam. I tested it, I believe it was a month or maybe the month before. I did have to install the extra video drivers. Now, you know the case of me and video drivers, but actually the video, yeah, here we go. No, but
You know,
actually, yeah, go ahead.
as a matter of fact, I downloaded the new proprietary ATI drivers,
Yes.
and it wreaked havoc on my TV screen.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, yeah, sure, they fixed the bug, with the mouse cursor sticking, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't give me the correct display
Uh,
resolution that my
yeah,
TV supports, and that sort of thing. And
yeah.
not only that, but the thing is, it showed, it didn't even expand to fill the whole screen. It was like a little tiny box in the middle of
Yeah.
the screen. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Well, I got
And
my computer to work with the drivers, and I actually got a free downloaded game to work. I didn't notice anything unusual, which was good. This is to be fair as a dual booter. I got it working fine, but when I went to shut down, my system froze. So it's like I was like 99%. I'm gonna recommend that, but I can't recommend this. Okay. I'm sorry, Steam folks, or Linux. I tried. Trust me, I tried. We couldn't get it to work. But anyway, moving on.
I wish I was there to see the look on your face.
Um, it wasn't. Let me say this. It wasn't really a moment of you son of. It was like, oh man, really? It was more disappointed than anger. It was more really being disappointed. I really wanted it to work, but it's gone better. It's just not there yet. So, all right, moving along. Speaking of Linux and Ubuntu, did you know that the name for the next Ubuntu release, 13.10, the name has been released? Do you know what that is? It starts with an S.
uh, Salamander.
Saucy Salamander.
Is it really?
Yes, saucy. Now here's the thing. I think that Saucy Salamander and Beefy Miracle should get together and form a nice big sausage sandwich to be sold at your favorite deli shop.
And it's funny because I did not know the name,
Good
but
guess. Yeah.
every Ubuntu release is named after an animal, and well, what
Yes.
animal starts with an S? Oh, salamander. That was the
Well, I
first thing
mean,
that
you could have guessed shark or but it
yeah.
was a
Well, I
good
mean,
guess.
the
Yeah.
first, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say so.
Saucy Salamander. There you go. Sounds yummy.
Yeah, all right. OpenSUSE launches Life, which is short for Linux for Education. OpenSUSE Education Team has announced the first release of Life based on OpenSUSE 12.3. The first issue carries the version number 12.3-1. Life comes with all the official updates applied and available in all major desktop environments, including GNOME, KDE, and Cinnamon. And from their blog, it includes a wide range of software catering to the needs of everyone. Selection from OpenSUSE Educational Repository, multimedia from Pac-Man Repository, development tools, and that sort of thing. I saw some screenshots on this. This looked like something that would be very useful and something that would be great for schools and institutions. So, nice step in the right direction for SUSE, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean anything for Linux to get more exposure, especially in an educational environment. I'm all for that. So yeah. Just a little bit more on Ubuntu. I picked this up today. There is end of life for Ubuntu version, I believe, 10.10. So those of you who have it, you will not be receiving any more updates. Just want to let you guys know. Um,
So if you want to keep it, just make sure you shut off all internet access to the
yes,
computer entirely, and then you
yes.
will have no problems.
No problem. You will have security holes as you do in the other OS. Yes. If not, Spatry will try and hack you. No, 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 no. I'm just kidding. Uh, Spatry, let me ask you something.
Go
This is
ahead.
okay. Now, bear in mind, folks, all of my nonsense items, I pick them up. Often they are actual news items. But Spatry, I know that you quit smoking, which I think is fantastic. So let me just, and I really mean that when I clap my hands. That's terrific. But you use
To a
like a
vapor cigarette.
vapor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Vapor. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here puffing on it right now as you were talking. Yeah,
Okay.
I did
Well,
quit
no wonder
smoking.
why my screen was fogging up here. Jeez, but no. No, but Spatry, get this. A lady, a smoker, I believe it was out west in California somewhere, she came up with a creative idea to quit smoking. And I've never heard this before, but what this lady did, she waited outside a police station, evidently. She waited for an officer to come out. She walks up to the officer and just slaps him broadsided across the face. While assaulting a police officer, right? She figured the only way to quit smoking was to throw her butt in jail so she can't smoke. That's her solution. I,
Did it work?
well, I suppose it does now. I mean, I had to tell you this because, yeah, because you.
Okay, let's get back on Linux here.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
And speaking of giving Linux more exposure and everything,
Yes.
did you know that the International Space Station switches from Windows to Linux for improved reliability?
No kidding.
The, yes, the United States Space Alliance, which manages the computers aboard the International Space Station in association with NASA, has announced that the Windows XP computers aboard the ISS have been switched to Linux. They migrated key functions from Windows to Linux because they needed an operating system that was stable and reliable. In specific, the dozens of laptops will make the change to Debian 6. These laptops will join many other systems aboard the International Space Station that already run Windows or run various flavors of Linux, such
Yeah.
as Red Hat and Scientific Linux.
Uh,
So, yeah, that's definitely a step in the
well,
right direction.
yeah. I mean, well, let's see. Debian 6, that would be the stable branch, as it's called. 6
That's
or.
actually that is the old stable branch because now
Ah.
Debian 7 that I just did a review on, and I took a lot of heat from the community
Uh-huh.
as because I probably could have gone into a little bit more detail in terms of some of the changes, but I can't remember everything. I just basically wanted to show people what you get if you go on DistroWatch and download the ISO image. You get pretty much a GNOME desktop.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was kind of new to me anyway because I hadn't seen the GNOME desktop since it initially released, and I thought it
Mm,
was horrible. And so I sat down and played around a little bit in it, did a review of it, and oh well, it is what it is.
yeah.
But
Huh. Cool.
now Wheezy is the stable branch version 7, and then Jesse is now the testing branch. And interestingly enough, I was reading on Linux World or Linux Today that they've already got a roadmap for where they want to take the Jesse testing branch, but I
Yes.
haven't read it in enough detail to cover that at this time because
Mm,
this early in the game, there's just you can speculate on what's going to be done, and
right.
then you can read all these roadmaps and that sort of thing. But the fact of the matter is, are they going to actually do that, or is something going to get dropped? Whatnot, blah blah blah.
I
Right.
don't know.
Yes.
That the well, you mentioned the space station. I know you're
Yes.
slightly off, yeah, slightly off topic, but the next Star Trek movie comes out, I believe, next week. I know you're a Star Trek fan, I believe. So you.
I am so there the night it opens.
Oh yeah, a Star Trek Into Darkness. Ooh, sounds scary. But yeah,
Right.
I
Right.
will. Yep, I will be there. Um, Just one more Ubuntu item. I believe I caught something off the news wire. A stable Ubuntu phone should be ready at the end of this month, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe I caught something brief today, which I think is terrific.
Hmm.
I believe their plan is to have it, ready to go, marketable by before Christmas of this year. Hey, another player in the game. Look, if it works, if it just plain works, dummies proof, and the price is right, it will sell. But I will say this, they have to get it right out of the gate the first time because you will never get a second chance to make a good first impression. So Canonical,
Exactly.
who makes the Ubuntu, if it's not stable and ready, don't release it. It doesn't have to be fancy schmancy, the best phone in the world, but it has to
Hmm.
work. And if it does, I think it has a shot. Yeah.
Now it's funny you mention this because and here's what I'm getting from the community because I mean I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. It helps me to get some ideas for some of the content that I'm going to put up on my show, and I don't always want I try to avoid to put up content that other people have done before. But there's this show on YouTube where this one kid gets his mother try Ubuntu for
Yeah,
the first
from
time.
Australia. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
okay, and then there were a number of people that had, a family member try Ubuntu for the first time. Dad tries Ubuntu for the first time, and then they have a link to the video where they tried the new Windows 8, and they couldn't make heads or tails of Windows 8, but they were actually able to get some use out of Ubuntu being a first-time user, and that was surprising to see that people would actually get that kind of an impression the
yeah,
first time using Linux.
yeah.
Well, yeah, this makes sense, that makes sense, and that sort of thing. And so, if we do start seeing Ubuntu actually on the store shelves, it just
Yes.
makes me wonder: are people going to actually vie for this and choose the Ubuntu computer over the Windows computer? That
Um,
raises a lot of, you know,
well, I will say this. I recently did one of those versus comparisons, Ubuntu 13, what is it, 04
uh-huh,
versus Windows 8. And I thought about this for a week, maybe even more before I did the video because I try to be fair. I call it as I see it, both good and
uh-huh,
bad, both in Linux and Windows. And to make a long story short, I came to the conclusion, somewhat surprisingly for some, that I think it would be an easier transition from Windows 7 to Ubuntu versus Windows 7 to Windows 8. Now, when I say transition, there is stuff to learn in Linux, PPAs and drivers and learning where to get packages. I mean, it is a learning process. But
yes,
because, yeah, so, I mean, I say the transition easier somewhat, I mean, there's some caveats here. But that being said, I came to the conclusion as a Windows dual booter that it would be a little easier because Windows 8 is such a jolt, is so different. Unity was different than pre-Unity, right?
mm-hmm.
But duh. But it was, to me at least, it wasn't a shock or a jolt. You
Right.
know what I mean? It wasn't a shock to the system, say from GNOME 2 to GNOME 3 or GNOME Shell. That's a jolt. So I thought based on that, I think it would be easier for a Windows user to at least try Ubuntu. It's free. I came to the conclusion that the winner in that contest, I'd have to give it to Ubuntu. Now, that being
Yeah.
said, if Microsoft had simply kept the start button and you just toggle back and forth, there would be no controversy because you could say, well, it runs faster, it looks great, but you know what? I don't have a touch screen. I'll just toggle back to the start menu. No problem. But they were stubborn. Let's be honest. They were stubborn and
Yeah.
stupid. But now I think in the update 8.1, I believe the start button's coming back. We'll see.
Well, it's funny how this conversation just led right into our next news topic: Microsoft's most profitable mobile operating system, Android. To some, Windows 8 is a marketplace failure, but its flop has been nothing compared to Microsoft's problems in getting anyone to use its Windows Phone operating systems. You don't need to worry about Microsoft's bottom line, though. Thanks to its
Uh,
Android patent agreements, Microsoft may be making as much as $8 per Android device.
boy.
This could give Microsoft as much as 3.4 billion in 2013 from Android sales. Oh, and get this. I was looking on the Multiware website,
Yes.
and this was an article that I couldn't find because I wanted to have this. Bring this up on the show.
Yeah.
That now Microsoft, they had this funny commercial where these people are getting married. And then
Hmm.
somebody's got this giant, Android phone,
Huh.
and can you, you're blocking my, and everybody's pulling out their cell phones to get pictures of the couple getting married. And then it turns into a barroom brawl. Everybody fighting over Android versus Mac and everything. And then you have and then you have the banquet, the banquet attendants just standing
Mm.
back watching all these people fighting, and
Oh.
they're holding up their
Aha.
Nokia Windows phones saying
I was
maybe if
just
they
gonna
were to get one
say,
of
yeah.
these, they're not going to fight,
This commercial
and that's.
sponsored by Windows 8. Yes.
But you wouldn't believe this. According to the pie chart that I'm seeing here,
Yeah.
for 2013, they're showing iOS getting 59.4% of the market share,
Mm,
Android at 26.2,
yeah.
and then Java ME getting 9.62, Windows Phone at only 1.14% of the market share.
Wah,
Wow.
wah. Poor baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Look, one of my close friends actually has a Windows 8 phone, the Nokia. The 920 came out before last Christmas, and I play with it. It's really a nice touchscreen phone. I mean, I call it it's a nice phone, not because I've been so used to Android. I'm not going to switch,
Right.
but I play with it. He showed me how it works. It's a nice phone. I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due. Windows 8 was designed for touch screens. It looks fine, but
Yeah.
maybe too little too late. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I had the HTC Excalibur device.
Yeah.
This was before all the touchscreens were really getting popular,
Yeah.
and this one had a full QWERTY keyboard
Yeah.
on it and that sort of thing. And actually, I was one of the beta testers when Skyfire first came out, which
Mm.
brought desktop web browsing
Yeah.
to your
Yeah.
phone and that sort of thing. And I was running Windows Mobile 5,
Okay.
and then I hacked it to run Windows Mobile 6. But the thing is, that phone crashed
Mm.
at least 3 times a day. At least three. That was the minimum. I found myself
Yeah.
having to pull the back off, pull out the
Yeah.
battery, put it back in. It was a hassle. And the thing is, my Android device, I mean, I never have any trouble with it at all. I mean, it
Yeah.
just keeps running and running and running.
Well,
So
look, the Windows 8 phone seems to work, at least for that specific Nokia type. I think they got the OS right this time. But you know what? They marketed it wrong. They named it wrong. They should
right,
have called it the X phone because you have an Xbox. Hello, right? Merge your
yeah.
X. Well, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying. You have an Xbox, soon to be the
But
Xbox 720 coming or whatever it's going to be. You have an X phone. X phone one, like the iPhone 1, 4 or 5. The X phone 1. You'll be like, oh, X phone. You'll that sticks in your mind. The Windows phone. I mean, I hate to say
yeah, but
that.
then we're just going right back on what you had said earlier with Ubuntu coming into the
Yes.
marketplace. Now they have to make that first impression. They want to have a device that's going to be stable and that sort
Hey,
of thing.
there's
And
a thought. Yeah.
and when I had a Windows Mobile phone that kept crashing all the time, and then I
Yeah.
went and tried an Android that never
Yeah.
crashes and that sort of thing, what makes you think I'm going to go back to even trying another Windows? I mean,
No,
my um, y-
I understand. I completely
y-
understand. Yeah. No, I would probably feel the same way unless someone showed me their phone and I played with it. I'm like, well, this ain't bad.
yeah.
But that's my thought on it. So for those of you who are shopping for your very first smartphone, at least take a look at the Windows 8 phone. You may not like it, but you know what? It's not that bad in my opinion. So,
And I have seen it in demonstration and that sort of thing. Yes, it does look kind of nice,
yes.
but not as nice as I've got my Android set up. Thank you.
Well, there are more apps in Android, but like I said, it may be a case of too little, too late, Spatry. So
I,
anyway,
I'd have I'd
yeah.
have to agree with you on that one.
Well, I got one last item. The title caught my eye.
Uh-oh, folks, here it comes.
All right, it has nothing to do with athletics, but here it is because you're right. I get these things at
God.
random. I swear it's okay. Here we go. News headline. Person driving to school, her car gets hit by a flying toilet. You got silence there, but this is what, because I'm thinking, wait a minute, did it fall out of a plane? It was more curiosity than a joke. Apparently, what happened, and that would make sense, there was a driver, hauling these porta johns, whatever you call them, and he forgot, I guess, what was not secure. And so it
And
wasn't really flying, it fell off the truck, but because they sell a flying toilet. Ooh, I guess
exactly. And
that
I found the report We've all had crappy Monday mornings, but a high school student in Thorndike, Maine may have just
Ah,
raised the bar. The
there
teen
you
was driving
go.
to school when a portable toilet fell on her red
Yes.
Jeep Cherokee.
Well, flying toilets, we all have that problem eating too many beans, but that's a different story altogether. But here's the kicker of the news article, the journalist who wrote it. He says the driver, I, I'm having a hard time with the straight face. The driver was cited for not securing his load. If you know any men who can secure their load, that's a heck of a trick. But anyway, that's
Yeah,
all I have
but
on. Yeah, yeah,
but kids, just be assured that there was no detritus inside the Jiffy John. It was clean.
yeah,
So
yeah. No, they were clean. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The driver was not hurt, and I mean that with all sincerity. It was just an unusual headline. A flying toilet. What?
just some blue Jiffy John liquid to hose off the vehicle, right?
Yeah, yeah, whatever they used. Oh man. I mean, how do you explain this to your insurance company? State Farm, I got hit by a flying toilet. Hello? Hello? You still there? Hello? But no, but
I don't have State Farm, but insurance helped me clean the toilet off my car. Bring.
I'm sorry, but you don't have the toilet extension insurance on your policy. Sorry, goodbye. Um, that's all I have.
Oh goodness.
See, you
And that's
caught
all
that item, didn't you? Yeah, all right. I know what you're gonna say. Gee, another crappy story. Woo, woo, woo.
well, you've always been good at talking shiznits, so
Yes. Look who's talking, Mr. Vaselinix over here. Yeah.
hey, but that method worked.
Oh,
The coffee
sure.
filter,
Yes.
coffee filters, it
Yes.
worked
Yes. From
perfect.
a purely
And
scientific point of view, it worked. Yes.
yeah,
I
so
have I have no
nothing.
use for it, but it worked. Yeah.
Exactly. But so the next off topic, we're going to nail Jello to the tree, and I'll show you how to do it perfectly. You're going to love it. Love it.
I'm looking for. I hate this. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm looking forward to that. Folks, I am contaminated.
Yeah, and the thing is, if any of you guys have any ideas for off topic, definitely let me know.
Okay.
Because yeah, I'll take your suggestions, and sort of like a YouTube MythBusters kind of thing. You can't nail Jello to a tree. Well, I'll prove that you can do
Mm,
it. Fun little things. Yeah, no pyrotechnics or anything like
mm,
that, but
mm.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
unfortunately can't do any explosions and that sort of thing. It's got to
Uh,
fit within a certain budget too. But yeah, why not? It'd be
we
fun.
could actually try, speaking of busters, we can actually try the fishing with dynamite to see if it actually works, but maybe that's.
Come on, we know it works.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes, I have that sunken boat to prove it. Yes.
Well, I have a pond in the backyard I could test the theory out on, but I think the homeowners association would have my head on a silver platter. I don't think it's going to
Just do
happen.
it on the 4th of July. It'll be perfect. Folks, that's all I have. Spatry, take us out.
All right. Thank you, all of you, once again for listening to us. We'll be back again sometime next week for another special news and nonsense report. And who knows? Maybe we'll even get the Linux Zoo crew launching back again. I need an idea for a good topic, and we'll set up a date and time to start doing all that stuff. So it's good to be back into the Linux world and releasing videos, that sort of thing. So, and I'm glad that you could be with me on the show today, Total today. Um,
As usual, these are fun. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, we can do another Zoo Crew or Linux A Team or
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's
Hey,
definitely time. Yeah.
yeah, we got to get a hold of. Yeah, definitely, we got to get a hold of Quids Up. We'll have to get a hold of Infinitely Galactic and
Yes,
everybody, and get
yes.
everybody together one night, and we'll sit down here on Skype and shoot the breeze. All right, once again, thank you, all of you. Peace out. We're out.
Adios, muchachos.